So today I'm going to teach you how to shoot and edit your 360 photos. But first, I'm going to fly my drone. So firstly, you're probably wondering, why'd you fly your drone? I mean, that footage is kind of pointless when you're talking about 360 stuff. I love flying my drone, I will admit that, but there's an actual purpose. I'm scouting with it. I'm looking up here and see if I can find some really cool spots. And I think I found one right here, but now there's a bunch of people. So we'll see if I can pull it off. Should still be able to pull it off. So let's get set up. Today I'm using, got my drone bag here, I'm putting this down. The Theta V. Now, you guys haven't seen this one, mainly seen my GoPro Fusion, but this is my favorite camera to use while I am shooting photos, so let's go do it. Okay, so those people left. There was like a group of family, and I swear they were just sticking around until I left, because the second I walked away, they walked away. But whatever. Anyway, so I got the Theta set up right here. I found a really cool shot. Again, that's why I flew the drone, so I can scout ahead. And part of the scouting was make sure there was no people, and there wasn't any people over here when I flew, but by the time I got here, there was a bunch of people. So there's that. But so I found a really cool, interesting spot. But this bridge is really nice. There's water on both sides, which I think in a tiny plant is gonna look awesome. So what I'm doing is having it on a pole. You wanna get this camera as high as you possibly can. I mean, if it was up there, it'd be even cooler. But this will work just fine. And a sturdy tripod. Now make sure the wind's not blowing a lot, because I'm gonna walk away from this. So as I said that, the wind started picking up. That's funny. But yeah, you want to make sure the wind isn't blowing, because this is going to be falling over. I'm going to walk away from it, get some distance to make a really cool picture. And I can preview it on my phone. I'm using the iPhone with this app. This Theta, I love shooting pictures with it because it's the best camera I have found that you're able to shoot, edit, and upload super fast. Now what I'm going to show you is how I edit my photos on mobile. So I'm going to snap a few pictures right now, and I'll show you what I got. All right, so I had to put the camera away because people were coming. And I mean camera, I mean this one. I was hoping to record as I'm shooting, but there's too many people, and that bridge right there, super narrow, and I didn't want to cause any trouble. So put the camera away, shot some photos. So what I didn't get to finish telling you guys while setting this up, because there's people coming, is when you're setting this camera up, you want to make sure of a couple of things. Two really important things. Making sure the lenses are clean. You think that's super obvious. It's no big deal, right? Well, on most cameras, like the GH5 lens that I'm filming with now and other lenses, the glass is actually inset a little bit, so there's a little bit of protection. So you could set that lens down flat and it won't touch anything. So getting smudges on that isn't as an issue. This guy right here, those things, the lenses are sticking out really far, so they get smudged pretty easily. So you gotta make sure constantly that those are clean, and then that way your photos aren't looking weird, because one side could be smudged, other side could be clear, and it's all a mess. Second thing is really important, be aware of the stitch line. Position this to where the light is even on both sides, not on your face. That way you don't get some weird effects while you're shooting those photos. It's some regular, like normal photos, and then I shot some HDR ones, which I love the HDR that comes out of this camera. I mainly shoot with that. Now the downside to that is you have to hold perfectly still for probably 3 to 4 seconds, sometimes a little bit longer, depending on how much light that is around. I'm outside in a bright sunny day, so it's not so bad, but it took probably 3 to 5 seconds. So I had to hold, don't move. If you move, it's gonna blur you out. So it's taking multiple shots and stitching them together for one, and it looks super cool. Then I'm gonna show you how to edit the photos in the iPhone app like I had said. The reason I like the Theta is because it's one, easy to use, and two, it has a built-in app that's beautiful. It works so good. It stitches things perfectly without any seam lines. And also, I take it and put it into another editing app called Snapseed. Loving Snapseed. Pump photos out like that and they look super good. Get creative with your shots as well. Like, I don't know how that's gonna come out, but we're gonna find out. I thought through the brush looked really cool, and you know what? It does look pretty good in 360 mode, but when I turn it into other things like Little Planet or Rabbit Hole, that could change some things. So I won't really know until I get it in the editing process. I'm about to do is what you probably shouldn't ever do. I'm gonna leave my stuff here in a public place and go shoot right over there. This is gonna be fun. All right, so I took a few more photos. I did some in regular settings and then some with HDR settings, so you can get a little bit more of a comparison of this camera specifically, a little side thing. So if you happen to have a Theta V, you'll get an idea of it. But all the other things I'm telling you will apply while you're shooting 360 photos and video. I don't even know if I'm in focus. I don't know anything because I can't see the freaking screen, and I got a different lens on here right now, so it's not an autofocus lens. But I've wrapped it up the shoot here. I'm gonna head back and I'm gonna show you guys the editing process right now. Back in my hotel room, that's what's going on. So first things first, I'm gonna show you how to edit the 360 photos on your phone. So I'm using the Theta V, which has its own software. Again, I love using the Theta camera. It is so good. It takes beautiful pictures, and it's super quick to use, and it can pump out photos super duper fast. The GoPro does a really good job, but it's a lot slower. It's a lot more difficult to transfer files. So I don't use it a whole bunch unless I'm shooting a lot of video. Then I definitely use it. In my opinion, the GoPro Fusion is still the best quality for 360 cameras on the market. Okay, so the first thing you got to do is open up the app, whichever camera that you are using. For instance, again, I'm using the Theta V camera. So I got all these photos in here that I took. So let's just start out with this one right here. So as you can see, you can maneuver around and view it. This was a regular non-HDR photo. So let's start with this one here. So first thing I do is pick the one I want. So I found the one that I want, so I'm gonna push on this one. And right down here, I see this little pencil. So I'm gonna push it and I'm gonna edit in Theta Plus. I mainly just use it for stitching it, and I'll show you what I actually edit the picture in just a second. So here it is, you're presented with the magic mirror ball, or whatever you want to call it. It's kind of a cool effect, but I don't use it. I only really use it for Little Planet, which, look at that, it's really cool, and Rabbit Holes, which that's pretty cool, but it's not as good as that one. Look at that, that's gorgeous. So I spin this around until I find a cool spot. I think right here actually looks pretty good. So I'm gonna go with this one. I'm gonna try to straighten out everything as much as possible, and I'll zoom that in a little bit. So there you go, everything's pretty straight. So now what I'm gonna do is hit next. Now it gives you options for filters, but I don't use anything else for this app. Absolutely nothing. I only use it for stitching. So I go next, select the type. I mean, you can do different sort of aspect ratios, but I ignore that. I hit next. Now it gives me some options to do something with it. Save the camera, Instagram, Facebook, all those other goodies. So I ignore it. I always go save to camera roll maximum that I can possibly do. 2160 by 3840, the large. Boom, finish saving the image. I hit OK. Now I am done. So I hit finish. Yes, done. Now it automatically goes right back into the app. So I back out and then I go into Snapseed. Now it's a Google app. I've tried Lightroom, which that one's really good too, but I'm pretty happy with this one here. I load up the image and so there it is. So I just kind of start editing. It gives you some options for filters. So I mean, I can select this one. It's like a morning effect. That's actually kind of cool looking. The filters in the Google Snapseed app they're really good actually. There's one click and you can see what I just got there. But what's really neat is I can go to my last edits So I can go into the last photo basically that I took and then apply the exact settings that I did to that one onto my next one. So if you're doing the same one, kind of like for instance, I'm doing this little planet. If I wanted to do a rabbit hole, it'd be the same picture essentially. So you can drop in the edit and just kind of tweak it from there. That's neat. But what I'm actually going to do is leave it as it is and not use any of the preset filters. I'm going to go into this tools option and edit everything I possibly can, because that way I can choose the settings I want exactly, instead of something that's pre-generated of what they think is the best thing. So I always start out at the very top, very beginning, tune image. So you start out, there's the brightness. I can raise and lower the brightness by just sliding my finger across like this. All the settings are gestures, so I can go up and down this way. But the brightness is pretty good as it is. Now with the Snapseed, all you do to get to the next thing is swipe up. Just swipe up and it gives you the next setting. So I can go contrast, saturation, ambience, highlight, shadows, and warmth. So I can just basically all I do is slide things around until it looks good. No real science. And now I'm done with those settings. So I just hit the little check mark in the corner. Now I'm back to here, bring up the tools again, and I go into details, which is kind of like a sharpening effect. So there's structure and I have sharpening itself. So I just kind of slide this and it really just brings up the detail of the image like crazy. So there we go. And I'll add a little bit of sharpen, not much. Boom, done there. I'll go into these tools. The next thing I usually do is the tonal contrast. It pre-generates already. I always start over. I don't know why it does that, so I mark it down. And I only do a little bit. So here's the high tones. I'll bring up just a little bit. The mid tones, just a little bit. Low tones, just a little bit. Nothing much major there. Protecting the highlight, so it brings up or decreases the grain a little bit. Same with the shadows. So boom, I'm done there. And then I go back to tools. And then the heel brush. I'm always using the heel brush because, not always I guess, but I'm using the heel brush a lot because of the tripod that it's sitting on. So zoom in, pinch to zoom with just 2 fingers. And then there's the tripod. I can take the heel brush, go right over top of it. And it's not great, so let's see what I can do there. There we go, let's use it until it looks. Now you can't really tell that much that it was sitting on a tripod. The last thing I usually will do is the vignette. So I go to the vignette. And it pre-generates around 50, so I'll maneuver it backwards until I like it. So like that's way too much. It really, in my opinion, it brings out the blues and stuff in the corners of the image, so there we go. If I want to bring up even more color, I'll bring up the brushes. So I got dodge, burn, exposure, temperature, and saturation. Now what this does is it gives you the option to pick the areas that you want to saturate, temperature, all that good stuff. So for example, let's say I wanted to bring out those blues in that sky a little bit more. Let's say, so we got these arrows for eraser saturation, desaturation, and then I can go +5 or +10. So let's go +5 on the sky and just start moving my finger over it, and it brings up that color blue a lot more. You don't want to go too much because where it doesn't look real, but that looks really good. Yeah, it's looking really nice. So now I'll hit the check mark, and that's pretty much it. I think we got that. But that's pretty much it. That's pretty much everything that I do to edit my photo. You may notice I'm doing this in portraits. Now this can be done in landscape as well, but I've been doing like tiny plants and rabbit holes in landscape. I think they look a little bit better, which is weird because it's the opposite of how I like to shoot film. All you have to do to get it into the landscape, when you're stitching the photo, just have your phone in landscape mode and then save it out that way. It's pretty simple. Just whatever orientation that it's in as you're doing the edit, then it works. I'll go over to export, and it gives you some options to export it. You can just save it, or you can save a copy, so you still have the original one, the stitched one, not the actual one that's unstitched. Or you can export with permanent changes, no other. Now when you save it, and if you're transferring this anywhere else, like let's say you put it into the computer, it saves the edit and the original. So that's a neat little touch. So I don't really care. I'm kind of done with this photo. So what I'm gonna do is export it out. Super quick, super easy to do. That's why I love the Theta. Now this thing's ready to go for Instagram, Facebook, anywhere you want to post this thing. The Theta V is one of my favorite 360 cameras just to use. Pump pictures out and upload them so fast and with great quality. So I highly recommend checking out that Theta V camera. But what I'm doing right now is it can be applied to anything, any camera that you're using. So that's the Theta is just what I like to use, and that's why I chose to do it for this video. All right, I'm gonna do one more. Let's do this one. This is where I'm trying to look cool in the photo. I failed, but let's try this one. Let's bring this one into the editing app, And you know what? I'm actually gonna save it out as this one. I already did a portrait one. Let's do a landscape one. Now watch this. This is gonna be really cool. So there's the old photo. Let's bring up the new one. There it is. Now watch this. Boom! One click and you're basically done. Look at that. So I brought in all of my settings from the past one I just edited, and now I can just move on to the next one. That's that quick with Snapseed. I love using this app. It's so easy to use, and it's just quickly, and the quality is excellent. Boom, export, and I'm done. It's that simple, guys. So I'm gonna recap a little bit on how you shoot your stuff, things to keep in mind. People, check for people around, unless you want them in the shot, which that's fine, because that happened when I was at the graffiti wall. I just walked up to a crowd of people that were in this little corner. I said, hey guys, do you want to see something cool? And I got them in on the picture as well. So that people can be used for little props in your picture, so keep that in mind. I met some new friends, basically, so that was really cool. Got their phone numbers and just sent them over the photos. Everyone's happy, everybody wins. So keep that in mind. But if you don't want anybody people around, and you have the option to fly a drone, or if you even have a drone, but if you have the option to fly a drone, fly the drone, because that way you can scout ahead, look at spots to film. That really goes ahead for anything, not just 360, but fly ahead, look where you want to go, and you'll get footage from a drone, and you'll also get places to go, so you can check for people around and all that good stuff. So check ahead, scout ahead, position of the camera, be aware of stitch lines, tripod, sturdy tripod, especially if you're gonna be walking away from it. You don't want it falling over, and make sure you clean that lens, because those lenses stick out so far. You don't want to get smudges or whatever going on. So sometimes I shoot just when it's slightly raining, slightly misty out, and that will stick to the lenses and actually get in the way of your photo. Boom, that's it, guys. It's so fun, so easy to do. If you're ever wondering how the heck am I pulling those shots off, or just asking yourself, hey, how the heck do I even edit these photos that I'm taking? And there's one more tip I'll throw in. You can actually edit your 360, actually environmentally scroll around image the same way that you can with the other photos. All you have to do is go into the Snapseed app, edit the flatted image out the way that you want it to go, and then upload it to Facebook. And there you go, super easy. Bonus tip, guys, it's crazy. That's it, guys. Thank you for watching. Consider liking, commenting, and subscribing, and also consider joining the community. This show is funded by you guys, so thank you for all those people that are Geeks Plus members. If you're not a Geeks Plus member, the link is right on the screen somewhere around here. It's usually right over here, probably. It's crazy, right there. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next one, guys. See ya.